I want to join TM because it's a GLC. I like to work with GLC. Maybe you do. But you should have that answer. You should have an answer ready. The worst thing you can do is to be unprepared in an interview, and that's the first thing I would ask you for. Just to add on, if you are a customer, you stand a much better chance of getting a job. For instance, if you were to go to Dato Shazalli and he he interviewed 10 people in a day and he said, I got problem with my Celcom line. Huh? Suddenly his left brain will change to right brain. Oh, you got, oh, sorry about that. Well, what's the problem? Then he will suddenly be attentive to you. Right? Then suddenly you will say, okay, Dato, now you can interview me. You are in charge. Little trick there. Thank you.
And in Google, because we analyze everything, over a period of time, we found no correlation whatsoever between our high performers and those who had high grades, right? So we realized that it wasn't just grades. And grades really have nothing to do with it, which is I think what Jason was also referring to. What we're really looking for is the X factor, if you will, right? So is there something that you've done that sets you apart from everybody else who are applying to Google or who have just graduated? And I can give you some examples. So for instance, it could be what Jason has done. Jason formed a group band, played music, did a lot more than just studying accounting. And if you think about it, all the gentlemen, I'm a notable exception, I really haven't done much, but if you think of Izham, if you think of Dato Sri, they've all kind of gone above and beyond than just going to school, get a 4.0 GPA, or study hard, and whatever have you. All of these things are clues to whether you can challenge yourself to do more than just go to class, study hard, join. And most of us do this. I know I did this. You go to school, you join 7 different societies, you become VP of 3 of them, president of 2 of them, and secretary of 3 of them. And you put that on your resume. That's just not enough. Did you start a business? It doesn't matter whether it succeeded or failed. Did you pursue triathlons, right? I mean, I'm just giving you examples. These are all clues that employers look for beyond just grades, because ultimately, you think about this. How much time do you have to tell us about yourself? You have a resume, that's your first point of contact. And a company like Google gets approximately 4,000 to 5,000 resumes every single day. So imagine going through that.
I feel like I'm no actually.
I shan't comment. Moving on. You get that much, and then you get 30, 40 minutes, right, with someone. What are the things that's going to set you apart? And it's these things that are above and beyond these grades that are really going to make a difference. That's what we look for. And I'd encourage all of you to keep doing that. It doesn't matter if you haven't done anything in school, please think of doing that as you start working. Start taking chances, start experimenting, start doing more than just going to work and back.
Even if you're a guy,
drum roll.
Even if you're a guy, you wear a skirt, you get a job. Just like that. Sorry, we go back a long time. The thing is, what I look for, like what these 2 gentlemen have said, I never look at all your grades. I look to make sure you don't fail everything, but I don't look at all A's or all B's, that doesn't matter. I go straight to your extracurricular activities. And then I see what you have done, whether you've gone to Aceh to help the people there, or you've gone to Bangkok for a backpacking trip. It's more important to me than to show that you are sort of a leader in whatever it is that you do. And I will ask you a lot of questions, but the real question which I'm not really asking you is the real question that I want to know the answer, which is, are you going to die for the mission? That's what I want to know. Are you going to make the most amazing TV show you can ever make, the most amazing film you can make, the best animation you can make? Are you loving Steve Jobs or John Lasseter or all those guys? Do you understand what it takes to move the industry? Not just be industry, but kind of move the industry around. That's more important to me than actually being a straight A student. I've got 19 A1s and then what? Right? So it's more important to me what's inside you. So there are 3 things that I look for, other than answering that question. Number 1 is courage. Like what Dato Sri said earlier, courage, you gotta be brave, right? Number 2, originality. Are you original or are you not? Or are you following everybody else? I see so many resumes that look exactly the same as the resume before that. It seems that everybody went to resume.com or something and printed something. I don't know why. Once I see the same resume, I don't even look at it. I don't know, color your resume with marker pen or something. Just make it look different. And the third point I'm looking for is creativity. So courage, originality, and creativity, and basically you got food in already. And if you're wearing a skirt, go to a tutor. We accept skirts too. Yes, thank you.
So get ready. First thing I won't do is hire anyone like any one of these people. I wouldn't do that. I swear I wouldn't do it, especially not like this, for sure. Now, and then there's some truth in it actually, if you think about it carefully. Why would I do that? Because every time you go to a trade fair, and we probably all of us combined could be prehistoric by now, a number of years we have spent hiring and recruiting. And there's one thing that's quite atypical in terms of the process of recruitment is that you hire against the moment in time. And this is the first time within the decades of many years where we are hiring a group of talent that come from a different world. You guys are aliens. Seriously, you guys are aliens. You were born with smartphones. You know what guitar heroes are. You tweak and you poke. You have the social network born in front of your face. You have different ideas about life. You integrate one another with 3 million friends. I only have 3 friends. And then some of them are not here even. And the mere fact that organizations like ours consistently need to change means that we need to look at talent, like all of you today, the so-called millennials, differently. We don't look for, I don't personally would look for resumes or skirts or pants, but I personally look for ideas. We need to sustain organization for the future. And you are the talent that has been groomed against a backdrop of knowledge, training, and development from a separate set of skills. You know what it's like to live in the online world. We don't. And we need to learn. And I'm here to learn from you. But if you stand out and look like us, you will be invisible. We will not even consider you in our resume because I think you're going to be adding up to the problems we already have. You should be the one who comes up with fresh creativity, now stealing everybody's verbatims, originality, and courage. And of course, you have to have the guts of changing things, which makes you different from your generation, and how you are going to be contributing to an already established businesses for the last centuries. It's quite easy to go to war and protest against what has been established, but it's more difficult to change one. So I think that's where your credibility is at stake today. Second, now very simply put, once you have that, what John Lennon says, you've got to be good looking to be seen. There are millions of you here and you all look alike from here. Really, you do look alike. So you have to stand out and you have to be seen. You have to be visible. You have to be ubiquitous enough so that we saw you. I mean, I had coffee just now, not a single student come and say hello. They all are busy taking pictures with Jason Lowe. And then, they're like, what's that? I'm the last one, thank you. Come on, give me some applause. And last but not least, I mean, I've heard this many times, but I'd just like to add about grades. I take the very succinct point in the opening speech by Dato Sridharan earlier, and it's a very important point about finding the person who will drive that extra mile for you, who believes that he will give the best despite being given the odd in his job. That character is a bet. You pick someone and say, I hope this guy will go through all the challenges in his whole world to make his job the best he can be. Now, to find that person today, it's always a gamble. Almost every one of us gamble on that thought. But the only guidance that gives us, the sort of guidance that tells us about you, is how you struggle for your grades. How you try to get an A Not how you get out, not about getting an A, but how you try to get an A in your resume. That gives a certain sigh of relief for those who get good grades, because at least it tells me that you have put everything you can within your ability to be the top student, which means that you have the passion, the courage, and the credibility to take another role and put the same effort that you did to get an A in your future jobs or future career. So I hope that sum up my bantering of everyone, and you can switch off everybody's mic now, and I hand back to Sri. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. The best interview I conducted in the firm is when this chap walked in, and I never asked questions about his CV and his stuff, and he talked about himself and his passions and so on. And it was just after, just a few months after I did a bit of a hiking trip going up to Everest Base Camp, and he had done something similar. And that was the best interview we had, because the entire interview we just talked about the experience he had and I had. And tell you what, did he get the job? Of course he got the job. I had a bit of problem explaining to my guys, okay, how come we didn't fill in the forms read? I said, this one we have to take. So you got to bring yourself, your true self, to the interview, and to the point that was made, you need to stand out. You stand out not because of your CV alone. You stand out not because of your clubs and your associations. You stand out because you have something in yourself, your individualism, that you bring to the interview. Speak, be open, communicate well, express your views, challenge the interviewer, ask a question or two, and I think that will make a difference. So with that, any final words from the panelists, except Jason? No, I think you want to.
I think you've also suggested in that case that you could actually go and Google who you're going to be interviewed by, find out that he went to Mount Everest, and then quickly go to Mount Everest.
Well, I think, Jason, if somebody goes to that lengths, I think you've got to be interested in that category. Right? So that's probably...
He will get a job.
Yeah, well, just very quickly, I think the thing, just to draw on the point that Sri made, because of what's happening around you, each one of you is actually almost like an organization in the making. Because if you just think of what's happened in the last 15, 20 years in the world, all the companies that are now global brands were started by one or two people. Why should it be any different for any one of you? And if you think of it in that frame, and the fact that you guys have now the means, the tools, the scale to be able to, build an organization yourselves, I think you challenge yourselves to great heights.
Yeah, sorry. I started out as an entrepreneur. Any one of you here can be a world beater. Only if you believe in it, that you think you can take on the world. But of course you got to study. What is it you're going to dive into? I just want to say, I started my company when I was 24. So that was a music label, and then I sold it to EMI. I'm very proud of selling it to EMI, because EMI was the same guy who signed the Beatles. So to me, I was like, yeah, I'm in the same league. But the point is, right? You got to believe in yourself that if you think your ideas are the best, and if you look around the industry and you say it is the best, and you can change the industry, then why not start your own business? Just like Dato said this morning. If you have the courage, and if you have some funds, right, then I think you should try that.
Okay, great. I think it's only fair that we give the final word to Shazalli. Since everyone had a second word.
I know. What can I say? I think the one thing that probably, which is less, probably more prominent in Malaysia at least,